B. She saves him, primary, a worth scene, secondary. He's blind, broke, dismissed as a burden by the men he knew before the war took his eyes. A woman already tied to him, not freshly met, is the one who never let go, and the story is about him discovering the size of what he already had. The hidden wife, mechanic, core engine. He is not a widower discovering a stranger. The reveal is one of these, pick and commit. She is a wife from before he went blind, married fast and quiet before he shipped out or before the accident that took his sight. And in the years since he's treated her like a hired hand or a burden out of shame, never fully letting himself see metaphorically, that she chose to stay married to a blind man who can't provide. He's been living next to his own marriage without believing in it. The land deed that names 3 cents also names her. She's listed as co-inheritor, a fact the lawyer or uncle's letter reveals, which is how the audience, and he relearns the marriage was real, recorded, intentional, not charity. Decision, go with this. He married her in 1924, blinded in a rig accident in 26, not war, Cimarron oil country, 1931, so an oilfield blinding hits harder and is fresher, less generic than WWI. He spent 5 years assuming she stays out of duty or pity. The salt flat inheritance forces the question into the open because everyone, including him, expects her to leave once there's nothing left to wait around for. Structure invented shape. Not down right arrow, meet right arrow, turn right arrow together. He's already married, no meet. Shape, circling one object, the deed, across 3-time layers, narrated by feel, sound, touch since he can't see. The deed itself, a folded paper he can't read that she has to read to him, that he carries everywhere because it's the one solid thing he owns, is the object the whole story circles. Each section returns to him holding it, asking her to read it again, putting it in his coat. Told in present tense scenes at the salt flat, broken by tactile memory drops into 1924, the courthouse marriage, 1926, the rig, the morning he lost his sight, and 1931 present action, not chronological, triggered by sound and touch, since blindness reorganizes memory around senses other than sight. Section breakdown, 80 min approximately long form, generous breathing room. I open mid-action, no preamble, concrete object, the letter, the smell of salt. He's already standing on the flat, boots crunching salt crust, the lawyer's letter in his coat pocket, his wife's hand on his elbow guiding him without him asking. Establish. Blind, broke, inherited this joke of a property from an uncle he barely knew, worth 3 cents an acre per the letter. Establish her physically through touch, sound only, the calluses on her hand, the particular way she says his name, never physical description from outside, he can't see her, so we never get an objective description. This is itself the device that makes the found of found gold and a hidden wife land later. Tactile memory drop, 1926, the rig. Triggered by the smell of oil somewhere on the wind even out here. The accident, not melodrama, mechanical, fast, the specific sound of the blowback, the particular numbness before the pain. Him waking in a bed not knowing yet it's permanent. Her voice the first thing he's sure of. Present, the flat, the argument under the argument asterisk. He tells her she should go back to town, find work, stop tying herself to a blind man with 3 cents of salt dirt. This is the wound of the whole piece. He believes his blindness made him a burden she's obligated to, not a man she chose. She doesn't argue with words, she puts his hand on something. Concrete object action carrying the emotional beat, not dialogue stating it. Tactile memory drop, 1924, the courthouse. Brief, warm, specific. The actual day they married, before any of this, the smell of her hair, a coin he gave her because he had nothing else. An argument with her father resolved by her simply walking out the door with him. Establishes she chose him when he had everything, sight, strength, prospects, and now when he has nothing, same woman, same choice twice. The find gold, not staged as triumph but as confusion. He hears her stop walking, the change in her breathing. She's found something in a wash cut into the salt crust, not gold or glittering, he can't see that anyway, irrelevant, but a vein she has to describe to him in words, has to put the heavy strange rock in his hand so he can verify it by weight and texture. This is critical. The gold is confirmed through his senses, not hers. He is not sidelined by his blindness in his own discovery scene. The deed read again, differently asterisk. He asks her to read the deed one more time, and this time she reads the part neither of them registered. His uncle named them both, deliberately, having known, somehow maybe corresponded with her, a detail to seed earlier that she was the steady one. The worthless land was the uncle's quiet bet on their marriage, not on the dirt. VII, the confrontation he's needed since Aya. He finally says the thing under the wound, that he thought she stayed out of pity. She answers physically before verbally, the warm beat/thumbnail moment. She takes his face in both hands the way she has to navigate by touch the same as he navigates the world, and tells him plainly she has never once measured him in eyes. Some version of, she didn't marry his sight, she married his hands, his voice, the man under it, and that man never left. VII, quiet close, image-based, no bow. Not the gold. End back on the deed, or on the two of them sitting on the salt crust at dusk. He can feel the temperature drop, hear her settle beside him. The paper folded again and put away, gold or no gold beside the point now. Final image, his hand finding hers without having to search for it, 5 years of practice, and that small, unthinking accuracy is the actual treasure the title undersells. Voice notes. Narrator, a man in his late 30s, old country Oklahoma plain speech. Short declarative sentences broken by the occasional long one when memory takes over. Sensory vocabulary skewed hard toward sound, touch, smell, temperature. Never describes anything visually except in memory drops from before he went blind, where visual detail is allowed and should feel like a different, sharper register. A man remembering sight, not having it. Banned for this story specifically. No little did I know. No describing her face in present-day scenes. He can't see it. Breaking this breaks the whole device. No treating blindness as the thing he overcomes triumphantly. Treat it as simply how he now lives, with the real arc being the marriage, not the disability. Self-check against Bible. 1. Male first person, she rendered through his non-visual senses. Yes, structurally enforced. 2. Opens mid-action on the deed letter and salt crust. Yes. 3. Structure invented, circling the deed across 3-time layers via tactile triggers, not the standard skeleton. 4. Voice distinct, blind oil rigger 1931, sensory displaced narration. 5. Payload, twist be dominant, she stayed and pulls him out of the shame grief he's lived in for 5 years. Twist a secondary, his worth finally named via the uncle's deliberate bequest. 6. Payload beat on the page in VII with a clear, warm, physical moment for thumbnail, hands on his face. 7. Ending quiet, image-based, no moral stated. 8. Title used exactly as given, film unnamed. Movie only a faint seed if one exists for this premise, none required, original scenario.